Okay, you sink it.
You're not live. Yes.
You are.
Who's sticking around? Who's leaving?
I can stick around.
I'll stick around for a bit.
Oh, and then
For Kenny.
we'll hang around with Kenny.
Whole team interview.
6-man interview, Kenneth. It's like you're in the boardroom.
Put him on the spot.
Nick, is it your birthday tomorrow?
It is my birthday tomorrow.
Is it?
That's
It is.
fun.
There's some little weirdo not telling anybody.
It's the
How did
birthday.
you-
Kenneth.
What'd
Yeah,
you
I,
say?
I got a notification on Slack and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. No, I'll be 32, I think, or 31. I don't know my age anymore.
What year were you born?
91
You're older than me then, so you're 92. Oh, you're 32.
and 32. Yeah, turning 32 then. There you go. Feels good.
32 years young.
Indeed. Another 32 to go.
What do they say? You're only as young as the lady that you're holding or something. Is that what they say?
So I am 0 years old.
Never heard that one.
You never hear that one, Francine.
No.
You've been around the block as well. I'm surprised you haven't heard that one.
Is that an American thing? Maybe not.
I don't know. Maybe it's an Italian thing. Who knows? An Italian-American thing. Right. We're going to get going in a couple of seconds. We were just doing a team training, so that's why there's the whole crew here. We all didn't turn out just for Kenny, but we do love him that much, though. We do actually love him
We're
and
his fan
appreciate him
club.
inside. We are his fan club. Us and all his family. We are the fan club, but we're going to get going in a second. Kenny, before we get going, let's tell everybody who you are, what you are, where you're from, and what you sell, and just give us a bit of a rundown of, you know, your journey in high ticket sales from when you started to where we are today, if you can.
Yeah, so as everybody knows, I'm Kenneth, but I'm 22 from Toronto, Canada, and I got into the high ticket sales a year from now in March 2022. And the reason why I got in was because my brother was doing high ticket sales and I saw that he was making a lot of money. And before that, I was actually doing day trading and I tried that for 4 years and it wasn't working out.
4
So,
years.
like, yeah, for 4 years. So
Sure.
like one thing about me is like I it's really hard for me to give up something. So like it was hard for me to let go of that. And then at some point I just kept losing money. So I was like, all right, let me do something different. So then I saw my brother was making money and then I got started. I was like, let me just copy exactly what he's doing and I can make like 10, 15K per month. So then that's how I got started. But lo and behold, like I got started and I didn't make a sale for 4 months and I was like so bad. And I literally accumulated so much debt because I started to see these sales trainers, sales programs, started investing into programs, and it just was like downwards last year.
What have you done?
So I've done,
There's no whole barns here, buddy. You tell everybody what you've done, who you are, where you're from, and what you've invested in X, Y, and Z. Because I have no fear in my little Irish little body from putting anyone on blast, as people know. So if you want to dance, I will dance.
yeah.
What have you done? Let's hear it.
So when I first started off, I was actually looking into Grant Cardone stuff.
Oh, I love it.
And I was like, I was going through the YouTube videos, and then when I was going through Grant Cardone, I came across Bradley, and then that's when I bought his course. It was pretty cheap. It was like $500, but it was really basic, like surface level stuff, like really just getting into it. It wasn't like nitty gritty stuff. And then that's when I heard about Jeremy Minor and NEPQ, and
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, cool. So let me try this. And then at the time, it was 7K to get into 3.0.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the money at all because I just got into the game. I asked my brother, told him about the program. He gave me the money and then I got started. I did half of it and he did like the other half. And then at the time, that's when I met you because you were still there. My first 2 weeks, I remember very vividly. I jumped on one of your calls. I was like, oh, he kind of reminds me of Conor McGregor. And then so I was like, I remember you were doing like the objection calls. So then I jumped onto that, and that's when I kind of met you.
Yeah,
After that,
I remember.
the program was done. I still really wasn't making like the income that I was wanting to make, hovering around like 3 to 5K, still not having the right skills. And then I remember from there, you stayed in touch with me. We're like messaging back and forth on Facebook, and you just kept nurturing me along the way. And throughout the time, like I kept seeing like the wins that you were posting in the group and everything. So like I was always sold on like the marketing and everything, but I was
Yeah.
just, I guess I had a little bit of fear of like jumping on another program.
Yeah, yeah. And most people would. Most people would when you do 2, 3, 4 different programs before you invest in another one. And I think we've all been in that position, haven't we?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. We've all been in a position, and we've all been in places where things haven't worked. We just haven't. Well, I've just invested 50K in a different program and it didn't work. So you just go up the layers and you keep investing in things, because the other side of it, Kenny, if 1 thing out of 5 works and it works the best and it works the biggest, guess what it does? It carries all the losses and it
Right.
carries you all the way forward, and that's how I look at investing. You're never gonna, like, if you invest in things expecting 100% out of 100% all the time, like, you won't invest in anything, because you invested 4 years of your life training development into trading and you got absolutely nothing other than your ass handed to you. But what it did give you is a high level, it gave you a high level of understanding that you have to invest and you have to keep going and you have to keep pushing. What I really liked about what you said was that I find it very hard to give up. And when you came into our world and I saw you for the first time, I honestly felt that this guy's going to be our biggest challenge. I said that to Nikki and I said it to Adam back in the day. I said, this guy's going to give us our biggest challenge because you were just not where you needed to be after doing the trainings. I looked at what you're doing. I was like, there's no way you've done X, Y, and Z training, because like, you're awful.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is awful, and I said that to you multiple times. I said, I don't know what you've been doing, buddy, for the last year and a half, but like, whatever you've been doing, you may as well be talking fucking Cantonese. It's awful. But long and behold, exactly what you just said. You keep at it, you keep pushing, you keep training, you keep trying, you keep turning up, and then you eventually start to turn the tide, and that's kind of where you are now. So give us a bit of a rundown of your year of 2022. I think you've earned, I think it was like 16K in total.
Yeah, so after like I did my tax return recently a couple months ago, I saw like I only made 16K in total Canadian in sales, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't make anything. Because I went 4 months without making a sale. So like that was rough, because even like the time freedom was good being in sales, but then because I was in so much debt, I literally couldn't do anything. I couldn't go out. I couldn't even spend money on food. Like my brother had to pay for everything.
Sure.
Like it was so bad where like, I was so restricted.
Yeah.
And it was like it was the darkest of the darkest times around like this time last year.
Where are you now? Where are you today? What did you make last month?
So last month, I still feel like it's like a work in progress for me, still in the journey
It
of
will be. Hey, buddy,
Yeah.
it will. Believe me, my days are work in progress. I get in this office, or I'm in my apartment, or I'm at my house, and I say to myself, fucking hell, like the fear of God is in me today. We have to keep pushing, we have to keep trying, and we have to keep pushing on. So that's never going to go. I'm just telling you that now. So,
Yeah, that's always there. Yeah. And
Yes.
what felt like a slow month, but it ended up becoming like one of my highest months, which is making just a little over 8K, 8.3K Canadian.
Awesome.
And it was the most I've ever made. So it's just upwards and onwards.
Yeah. What do you think has been the biggest help for you? Like, what has been the biggest needle mover?
I don't think I can pinpoint it to one thing. I mean, there's so many things. I think like the program like Elite really changed the game for me, like in so many different ways. I would say a couple of different things. When I first started, I was very like timid and didn't know how to like handle objections, didn't know where to go. People would give me a think about it, and I was like, okay, like I really didn't know what to say from there. And then as soon as I got started into the program, like that's the first thing that we learned. And then I was like, oh, okay, so it's just a smokescreen. Like just get past the smokescreen, get to the real objection. and then we learned like the partner and then the money, and I was like, okay, this stuff is starting to make sense. Another big thing that I feel like that really helped that kind of turned things around is to really cut all the fat and just make things really efficient, just getting straight to the point, not talking about like the past, not probing and clarifying into like random things, like things to actually move the conversation forward.
Yeah.
So that's something that really helped a lot as well.
Yeah, because your brain, don't take this the wrong way, and this is not in any way derogatory. Your brain and your culture is very analytical. Do you know who's very much like you as well? Nicky Lee. Nicky Lee, when he came in, was making 2K. He actually wasn't even on an offer when he came in. And 4 months later, he was the top guy in both companies, and he was taking home 25K a month. All fact. Go check it up. Go check it up. It's all there for you guys. Whoever don't believe it, it's there for you. Very much like you as well. Just show me the process. Well, just show me A, B, C, D, and E, and just show me that it means 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. With you, that's the biggest thing that I've ever wanted to do with the elite program and the training that we do, the injection box. More often than not, 95% of the time, if you do A, you're going to get 1. If you do B, you're going to get 2. And so on and so forth. And that's something that I think for you has really helped as well, because your brain is like, okay, but I said this, but it didn't do this. But just knowing it's the nuances and it's the, the timing, and it's also like, not chasing the wrong rabbit around, all those kind of things have really helped you, and really push you into a different position, Why do you think things didn't work elsewhere? Like, what do you think? I know you're saying like when you came with us and it's just like, do this, and then let's realign. But like, you have information everywhere.
Yeah.
You have more information in this world than people know what to do with it. That's why people get over analytical and they, don't do anything, because of there's too many options. There's information everywhere. What do you think has really kind of, given you that clarity to kind of just know what to do now?
Like in terms of the programs that you feel like that I've done?
Well, like just in terms of everything, like there was always the information out there. Like, no disrespect to Jeremy, because I used to work with him. A lot of the information is great. It will do really good stuff, And again, Bradley, great guy. Met him in Las Vegas, really, really good too. Knows how to sell. Grant Cardone again. Who am I going to say? Who we compared to all of those 3 people? But yeah, it's that information didn't move the needle.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing. So, well, first off, like when I came across your program or everything, I was like, okay, well, Bill is like who I want to be in terms of like how the conversations go in a call, which is leading the conversation, being someone who's a little bit more firm, because that's what my weakness was, right? So it falls in line with the personality that I wanted to be and who I wanted to become. But I feel like the biggest thing that really helped, and I always look back and reflect, is the fact that there's a lot of coaching and support. One of my favorite things is the unstuck calls and the fact that you cap it off, because with a lot of other programs, like there's like 15, 16, 20 guys in the call on a role play call, and would go through like 5, 6 people and the hour's done, and like, we're not going to be staying there for 2, 3 hours. So when I came in, I was like, everything was capped, and I was like, whoa, this is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. And you actually like break down and watch calls, which is, I feel like, was the biggest thing that I needed help with, because to me, like the role plays were great, but it's more authentic when you actually watch a prospect and see what they say, and you can break down how you could have done things differently, like going back to watch film, which is why I love jumping on the unstuck calls, because that is something that really helped me. Like, you could pinpoint, like, this is what you did wrong, here's what you could have done instead. And I was like, oh, I see, that makes sense. But with role plays, like, I got sick of it, I guess, if you will. But that's the biggest thing that really helped me, was the unstuck calls. And the fact that it's capped.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When I built the objection box and I built out everything, we actually, from the first day to where it is today, there's not an awful lot changed, Francie and Nikki, are they? We haven't changed anything. Like, the core idea is still the core idea. The unstuck calls are still the exact same way. The role plays are still the exact same way. The coaching sessions are still the exact same way. Now, we have bolted on other stuff in terms of the marketing, the network, just FYI, if anyone's charging you 5K, 6K to learn how to network market, you're an absolute retard. So we've added that on because, you know, we just don't think people should be charged to, you know, change your cover photo and say hello to people. So we shouldn't actually have that. So we added those kind of things on, but the core idea has always been the same. And the core idea came from me doing NEPQ calls, and I would have 90 people on my objection handling, the most out of everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Jeremy's calls too. I would have them most in the entire NEPQ frame under the umbrella, and 90 plus people will be on my objection handling training. And I would answer questions for 1 whole hour solid, and afterward I would have to go lie down for at least an hour just to fucking digest. So I looked at it and I said, okay, there's a large scope of people that are struggling. I can't mass blanket education, so I have to bring in some sort of training process where we can cap people without them feeling that, you know, it's just another one that we're going through, and hopefully we can get to their answers before the hour runs out. You know, so I'm glad that you've felt that is a big help.
Mm.
Good.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing.
Ever?
Yeah, of everything.
You know what my favorite? You know what my favorite thing about you is? When I met you, I like how tall you are.
I probably thought I was like 5'6".
I thought you were 4 foot nothing, buddy. Don't worry about 5 foot. I thought all Asians are fucking 4 foot nothing, but you're like 6 foot, aren't you? You're like 5 foot.
I'm not even that tall. I'm only 5'10" and a half, so I'm not
Well,
the
yeah, shoes on.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
wear
put
your
shoes on.
heels as well, don't you?
Yeah.
You wear like those red shiny heels, so that brings you to 6 foot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all right. 5'10".
Are they your brothers? Actually, I forgot. I don't actually know them. It's just abuse here, buddy. That's all it is. It's like people sign up and they're just like, hell, why are we paying these people? All they just do is just abuse us. They just abuse us into being better. You're right. That's what we do. That's the game. That's how we work. That's the Irishness coming through everything. But no, we're really proud of you, buddy. You know, we really, you know, appreciate everything that you do. You know, we appreciate your resilience and everything that you bring to the table. I know you said you followed us for a while. What was the kind of turning point that you said, fuck it, I gotta trust these guys and go again? Because that's a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of people in ship programs, there's a lot of people in different places. They're not getting what they need to get, and they're looking at us and they're saying, there's no way that the guys can keep producing. There's no way that, you know, what they're doing is so different than everybody else. What gave you that kind of, I suppose, confidence to actually trust again?
I think just throughout the time, I just kept seeing like the testimonials, the results. Because I remember when you first started, like you asked me, and I was like, I'm still in NEPQ, like not yet. And then October, I jumped on a call, and I was like, I don't want to continue going into debt. But then throughout time, like the for a couple months, I just kept seeing like wins. And I was like, I guess this shit works. But by the time we get to January, you asked me again, you followed up with me, and you were like, hey man, like prices are going to increase, like do you want to get started? And I remember I was just giving you the runaround, giving you some smoke screen, some objections. I wanted to see how you were going to handle it as well, so just giving you the runaround. But then after you're telling me, like I started giving you some BS objections, and you're like, you know what buddy, like just don't do it. And that's when I was like, all right, no, fuck you, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm gonna join because you told me not to. So it's not what you teach, but the reverse psychology worked. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it.
I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm not a one-trick pony, buddy. I don't just beat people around for the sake of it. Because not everything works with certain people. You know what I mean? Like how many times has someone objection handed you? You know, what I needed to do with you, Kenny. Oh, there we go. I need to pay the rent. What I need to do with you, Kenny, is I need to pour my you because that's important. Everyone will tell you the sun, the moon, and the stars. Not a lot of people would stay with you for as long as I would, and as long as the team do. You know, because we take that serious. Like you are us. Our reputation, our name, our company, you know, who we are, what we are in the market, who we are as people, you know, is directly related to the results that we get for people. And you know me, Kenny, and all you here, I take the piss all day, every day, upside down, inside out, 365, 7 days a week, and everything in between. But when it comes to people struggling, when it comes to people that are in need, when it comes to people that, you know, want a difference in life, I'm the most serious person on this fucking planet. Why? Because I know what it's like to be in that position, and I also know what it's like to change your life in a matter of weeks. You know, and when I messaged you, and you know, we were having that conversation, I just saw a kid that had been taken advantage of, that had been squeezed left, right, and center. And I looked at you, buddy, and I said to myself, if that was my young brother, what would I want for him? You know, and that's why I always give you shit. That's why I always like, that's our love language. If you didn't know that in Ireland, like giving people shit and abusing people and slagging them and having the crack, as we call it in Irish, that's our love language. That's how we know that we care about you, is if we're comfortable enough to, you know, slag you and, you know, take the piss. That means that we're comfortable enough to put our arm around your shoulder. So for me, buddy, when I saw you and I just saw what you'd done and I listened to your story, I just said to myself, okay, look, I can help the kid and I want to help the kid. And I'm probably going to be his only hope in this game. Because if he doesn't come with me, he's fucked anyway, you know, because where would you win? You know, you would have just got the exact same stuff everywhere else. You would have got mass produced education that didn't work 3 steps on the way. It's not going to work the 4th time. You had to go a different direction. You had to get, you know, someone who's been there, done it, has, you know, wore the t-shirt, put their arm around your shoulder and actually just guide you past. And I'm very proud to say that everyone in this room are the exact same, you know. Birds of a feather flock together, as they say, you know, and I don't bring anyone into my world, especially into my internal world, if they don't have that type of care and want, you know, with them, you know, and that's something that has only done you the world of good, you know, being able to be around people that want you to win, not just want to see how much money that they can extract from you, but actually want you to win, you know, and especially when you were going from offer to offer, you know, when you first came in and I was saying to you, look, this is the process I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. This is what they're looking for. This is who you got to be in order to get into a proper place, you know, and you did it. And that's why you end up, you know, developing and pushing and learning the right skills and getting after things, you know, and that's something that we're really proud of, and I'm really proud of, and hopefully you're really proud of, you know, because you've had an amazing journey, you know, and we're only getting going. It's kind of like this, right? You're kind of like falling down, and next minute you're just on that hockey curve. You're up, you're halfway up, but like you got to go that way now, you know, and that's something that I want to challenge you to do, you know, and all the guys are going to challenge you to do too, but you should also challenge yourself, because you're surrounded by people that want you to win, but you're also surrounded by, I want to hardly say, the best team on the fucking planet. So we're going to push you all the way, you know, and we want you to be there, but now it's up to you, as they say. You can have a little bit of success and you can swing your dick around and you can tell people that you're this, you're that, or you could double down and you can keep going.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what it takes. So what is the goal? Tell us, what are the goals over the next 60 days, 90 days, 120 days?
Yeah, so the goal is to just continue to keep going, to keep pushing. I mean, my goal is always to make at least 20K a month, and I've yet to even hit the first 10K, which I'm getting very close. But the goal is just continue to keep pushing, and really not to worry about too much about the numbers too, but focusing on the right things and things that I can control, which is like helping people, which is ultimately what it's all about. Like what you always say, like you never really worried about the money. It was about wanting and actually helping people, and like the money is just a byproduct and it will come. It's just the outcome. So yeah, just really focusing on that and just fulfilling that mission and purpose, and just surrender to the outcome, let everything else take care of itself.
Good, because that's what it takes, you know. When you do really, really good in sales, the byproduct of doing really good in sales is, guess what? You make a lot of money. It's the only thing that you can be paid with. Can't be paid with rubies, you can't be paid with gold, you can't be paid with silver. The only thing you'd be paid with is pats on the back and cash in the bank. That's how it works, you know. Let me ask you this, as a selfish standpoint. We see a lot of people thinking that coaching people, training people, developing people, you know, this process, that process, the other process. Everyone has an idea that they can train people and sell people and, you know, educate people. What do you think separates the people that, you know, think that they can train people and educate people and the people that actually do?
Biggest thing is that the coaching actually shows up, like it's actually there. What
What
I've
do you mean by that
experienced,
now?
yeah, because what I've experienced with a lot of programs, like just what I was saying earlier, like at some point you just become like another number in the system,
Yeah.
right? And at the end of the day, it's no biggie if you win or not. Like it is what it is. But then when I came in, I didn't feel like another number. I was actually messaging you, and I was skeptical. I'm like, am I just messaging a VA? And then you sent me a voice message, and I was like,
I
oh,
was
it's
walking
you.
around. I was walking around the supermarket actually when you came in, trying to get my girl from not knocking everything off the shelves. That's what I was doing. I told you that. I said to you, hey buddy, I'm in the supermarket. You join if you like, and if you don't, that's also fine. We're going to keep moving. It's up to you. And that's why I was like chasing after her while she was knocking everything off the shelf, thinking it was a game. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the big thing. Like you were actually there having that conversation with me. I was like, oh shit, it's him. But after the coach, that would just shows that like the coaching, everything shows up. Because everybody kept saying like, oh, Bill actually cares like about your training and everything. Like he actually cares. And then like I experienced it and I was like, it's true. Like you actually do. So that's the biggest thing that I feel like separates, is that you actually show up. And if I show up, I feel like there's really nothing left.
No. Why do you think people think I don't care? Where does that come from? I hear this all the time, Bill is this and Bill is that and Bill's team is this and they're egotistical this and this, that, and the other stuff. Let me tell you this, right? If you're watching this and you think that, do you know what we're not? Liars. Do you know what we're not? Fakes. Do you know what is true? Our numbers. And we're all X, Y, and Z. And I have the biggest ego in this entire room. And the only reason I can is because I can back it up. Why do you think we're branded like that, Kenny? Is it because of my bravado? Is it because I'm Irish? Is it because I'm unrelenting and ramming it down people's throat, or what is it?
I don't know. I think it's probably just because you're like more firm and maybe come across as stubborn, so people wouldn't think that you do care. But everybody that I spoke to before I even joined was like, when I was in NEPQ, Bill was the guy that messaged me and told me to jump on the coaching call of all the coaches, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So I don't know. Maybe it's because you come off as firm, but
I am firm. Because
Yeah.
you're firm. We're all firm. But we've got the biggest heart for all of you because you're not. Here's the other side, right? People think it's all about money. People think that it's all about milking money. When you make enough money, people, for all of you people on Facebook, when you make enough money and it actually stops becoming just about making money, what's left is your ethics, and what you want people to remember you by. This is the truth, right? I'll tell you this. I'm on a rant today. There's a lot of people out there that want to be liked by everybody. Let this sink in. There's a lot of people out there that want to be liked by everybody. I only want to do one thing. I only want to be loved by few. I don't want to be liked by everybody. I only want to be loved by few. Because if I can be loved by few, that means I've changed a few's lives. And that's what we do. It's not a popularity contest for me. If it was, I would play the fiddle and I would make people laugh. That's not what we're about. We're about changing lives here, and to do that, you got to be somewhat polar. You got to be firm in who you are and what you are, but it also means that you fucking bleed for your people, and that you go above and beyond for your people. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind closed doors that nobody knows and nobody will ever know, because that's how you build relationships and that's how you show that you care about people, and I'm sure there's plenty of stories that could be told in this room, giving and taking. So yeah, it's an unusual world that we live in, it's an unusual space. But for you, Kenny, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you feel loved?
how much do I feel loved?
Yes.
Like
How
from
much do you
here?
think? From all of us, from everyone in the group, from everyone that is associated under the banner of the objection box.
Yeah, no, 10 out of 10, or even more than that. I
10
think it
out
would
of
break
10.
the scale. The support is crazy.
Yeah. So the big question is now, are you coming to the next event?
I'm already signed up.
Nice. Is your brother coming to the next event?
I don't know.
We'll have to give him a 2-for-1 ticket. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll have to give a 2-for-1 ticket on that one. Because there's a 2-for-1 ticket on everything else. So we may as well give it a 2-for-1 on that one too, as they say. No, but look, all jokes aside, we love having a buddy. We love seeing your growth. We love everything that you do. You know, I know you're only a young whipper. I think, how are you, 23?
Yeah, I'm turning 23 at the end of the month.
How old is everyone in this room? I'm not going to ask Francine. So how old is everyone? I'm not going to embarrass Francine in front of all.
I'm
our Facebook friends.
29 again.
Yeah. 29. So we're all what, close to?
I'm 32,
Yeah,
almost.
we're 38. You're about 48. Kieran's 5. Jimmy is the exact same. We're all a little bit older guys, and what I mean by all this is, like, you guys are in the best position of your lives. You know, like, where else do you have a skill that can completely change your life at 22, 23 years of age? We're 10 years out of the gap. You know, I didn't even know 10 years ago when I came to London, how I built the business was I handed out flyers in the local newspapers. Imagine trying to build a business like that now. Like, the opportunity that you guys have and the opportunity that we're pouring into you to be excellent and to not settle for mediocrity and fucking dancing around campfires and bullshit like that. Like, the true excellence of being one of the people in the industry that people can rely on. You know, I see it. I was in Ireland at the weekend, guys, and like, the lack of pride in people's work, the lack of, you know, I suppose, value that people perceive each other about, it's just stark. It's just crazy. So to be, Kenny, like, if you think of it, you keep growing and keep pushing and keep training and keep developing. By the time you're my age, which is 31 years of age, buddy, like, you should be retired.
Yep.
Like, you should have had made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands, opened up a fried chicken shop in the middle of Toronto, you know, and served all of your great family and friends and cousins and all the rest of the people in between. And that's what it should be for you guys, you know. And the same with Jimmy, the same with Kieran, the same with all you guys. You should be looking at this as if to say, how do I get so far ahead that I never have to worry again? You know?
Yeah. No, that's definitely the goal for me. Like, when I graduated from high school, I put by 28, like, that's the time I want to be retired, because I knew when I was in high school, like when I was 16, I was like, school and 9 to 5 was just not it. Because I don't know what you guys learn in like UK or in Ireland, but like in Canada, it's
cool.
so bullshit. Like, we'll learn like Pythagorean theorem, like Shakespeare and all that. It's just like stuff that's like not applicable in real life. So at a very young age, I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I'm not going to go to 4 years in school and just get like a piece of paper that just doesn't make any sense at all. So that's why I got into day trading, and then it didn't work, but got into sales, and here we are.
If you didn't get into day trading, you wouldn't be in sales. And if you didn't get into sales, you wouldn't be what you're going to be next. So there's nothing wrong with failing, buddy. I failed for 7 years before I made $1 in online in full-time sales.
Yeah.
And I did more in a year than what most did in 10 years. So there is nothing wrong with failing. If I didn't fail, I wouldn't be here today. And Nikki wouldn't be here, and Francine and Jimmy and Abe and all of us. So there's nothing wrong with failing. There is something wrong, though, if you continue to fail and continue to do the same things.
Yeah.
So we want you with us forever, buddy. Now the question is, are you going to stay forever? You're going to stay. We'll always be your boys, and you'll always be our boy. So that's what it is. All right. What I want to do is I want to leave the floor for someone else to have the last question. Who wants to have it? Who wants to have the last statement? Because I know you're all busy. And if you're not busy, you should be busy. Why? Because we are busy people. You all should be busy people. Who has the last question for Kenny? Or Kenny, you can ask us a question if you want.
Oh, I didn't come prepared for that, but
Oh, shit. You should always be prepared.
oh, I do have a question.
Go on then.
When do you have an idea as far as like where the next event would be in
Yes.
America?
Rio.
He said America, dickhead.
Yeah.
America.
South America. I'll give you that, half a point. I think summer south, because if you go too far up north in the winter, it gets too cold and miserable. There's no point going to New York in November, December, unless you want to go see the lights, which I potentially will be doing, but I may not, because I got to go to Sean Ray's Sean Ray's fucking wedding just before Christmas. So I'm not sure what I'm doing. But I think possibly somewhere south, maybe Texas, somewhere around that, maybe Tennessee, somewhere in that kind of area.
Tennessee.
Maybe, yeah, we may dress up as fucking cowboys for the weekend. I don't know yet. Who knows? Yeah, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, it'll be somewhere in America, because we did one in UK in America in the early part of the year. So you'll have to go back to the States at the end of the year. Not sure yet. It'll probably be October, November, December, something around that kind of period, I think. I haven't even sat and thought about it yet, buddy.
Cool.
Was that the question?
Yeah, that's it.
That was a logistics question, but anyway, Sylvie. Okay, Jimmy, Nikki, Francine, Abe, Kieran. Let's give Kieran, or let's have a question of value to give to the audience and give back to people. What would you ask? Who wants to go?
I'll ask Kenneth a question.
Go for it.
Kenny, you and I have been in role plays. It was like a year ago we were doing stuff, and you know, like I wouldn't go back and change anything. But if you did go back like a year ago, is there anything that you would do differently that you could apply to now?
The only thing that I would do differently is I would have joined sooner in the objection box elite. That's the one thing I would have done differently. But just like what Bill and like what you were saying too earlier, like it was all a part of the journey. So I wouldn't want to change anything. I don't regret like any of the programs I've done or like the past failures, because it's all a part of like it just shapes and builds you as a person. But other than that, I would have just joined sooner so that I can actually get to where I want to be quicker. And that's a lesson that I'm carrying on. Like anytime I see something and like I'm just gonna go for it, because I couldn't go to sleep at night and be like ask myself, what if I tried?
When did you want to join? And when did you join? Like what was that period of time?
Yeah, well, when you first came about, I was like, oh shit, cool. So I was kind of interested.
2022.
Yeah,
we
which
launched
is-
our first thing the 6th of June 2022. First training.
yeah, that's when I was like interested. And then I would say probably around October, November, here and there, I'd be kind of like in and out. It was like in the back of my mind. And then by January, you're like, hey man, prices can go up. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'll just join. Fuck it.
I've got a question for you, Kenny.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've done a lot of different things and you've tried a lot and failed a lot, and that's got you to this point. But now, as Bill was saying before, you're on that upward trend, right? How does it actually feel for you when you wake up in the morning and you know that you're actually doing the shit you need to do and you're actually looking at your future? Like, how do you feel about your future now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's if I look back on it, I guess I have mixed feelings. Like I feel grateful that I'm in a much better position than I was this time last year. But at the same time, I feel like there's also more. You know, there's always something in me that's just like you guys. I'm sure all of you guys have that hunger, like in yourselves. Like there's always something more. You're always wanting to be the best version, be the most prepared, and anything that you guys do. So I feel both. I feel grateful, but also I want more.
Of course,
and I want
but
to
how
be-
do you feel about your future now that you know that you've got the skills to actually put yourself in the position where you can retire at 28?
I guess more secure or prepared. I feel more secure and prepared. Not having to, I guess, be unknown and uncertain about like the future. I know that I always show up and like do everything that I need to do, so I feel like I'm more secure and prepared.
Well, I love your work ethic, mate. Always have. You always show up, you always do the shit, and you always put the work in. And as a result, you are where you are now. So it's only onwards from here. But it's good to hear that you don't feel insecure or anything like that like you used to.
Yeah,
That's the beginning, mate. It's just
Yeah.
the beginning.
100%.
How many hours do you think you train? That's a good question, actually. How many hours do you think it's taken you? And, you know, like, what do you think is the standard that needs to be put in to be able to be in a position where you completely do a 360?
As far as training, from before, it was a lot more. Like when I was really bad, like I after during the days, like I'd take calls, and then like after the calls, I'd spend 2 hours training. On the weekends, I never went out, never went clubbing, partying, like literally no social life at all. Never hang out with friends or anything, and that's like the sacrifice I had to make. And all I did was lock myself in my room and go through the training videos, like when I first joined, and I just bashed through it. So I just spent like all day, all week, like just training, and to the times where I was burning out and it wasn't helpful because I was doing too much too quick too soon.
Yeah.
But that's all I ever did was just work and train.
Yeah. That's what it takes. There's a great saying, actually, and Nikki is probably a testament to this. I would rather face the person that trains 10,000 kicks once,
Yeah,
rather than the person that trains one kick 10,000 times.
Correct.
And that I think, oh, who said that? Was that Muhammad Ali or Bruce Lee or
Bruce Lee.
something?
I think it was
I
Bruce
see
Lee,
that.
mate.
I see it all over gyms and shit. You're like, oh yeah, fuck, I'll fuck with that. But what it actually means to me is like we've broken down the internal trainings, and we've broken down like what to do into 4 steps. You're like, and in those 4 steps, there's 4 periods. So if you think about it, that's only 16 things you need to learn and be pretty standard at. You know what I mean? Roughly about 15 to 20 things.
Hmm.
You know, and that way of thinking just completely takes away the overwhelm. And if you think about it, like objections only come into 5 key things and come into 5 key places. You know, I remember I seen something one time. Learn how to overcome the 50 most common objections. They're like, are you retarded?
No.
They're like, are you fucking stupid? Like, why are you telling people there's 50 objections? 50 fucking objections. You're like, you
Nuts.
retarded. You're like, you're a fucking retard. There's 5 objections. And what are they, Kenny?
Think about it: partner, money, fear, logistics.
Absolutely spot on. I have it wrote down on the wall over there. And that's the sequence. That's how it works. And once you understand that, once you understand like there's only 5 things I need to do, it takes away that insecurity, and it takes away that kind of, you know, that unnerving reality of I don't know what I'm doing. Because if you think about it, if you look through all your calls, they're all the objections are only going to go into 1 of 5 things. You know, and that's what it is. Okay, Kenny, we love you. Keep
We love
training,
you
keep
too.
working, keep going. All right. I'll see you later on. Party people, adios.
See ya.
Bye.
Ciao,
Can you
Kenny.
go- Can you guys
See you
go
guys.
and like do something, like go make some money for yourselves? Go and like, you know, give someone a kick in the ass, or you know, turn the screw somewhere. Yeah.
Will do.
All right. See you
Later,
later
guys.
on. Kenny,
See ya.
behave. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday,
Bye-bye.
Nick.
He's